and welcome to our inaugural episode of the... It's not the Pause Screen podcast anymore, because that's what it was before. Now it's Idle Animation. I am one of your three hosts, Sherrard Roderick. With me is Taehoon Kim. Taehoon, say hello.
Hello, everyone.
All right, that's good. I like that. Also joining us is Christopher Nardi. Chris, say hello.
How's it going, guys? Thanks for tuning in.
He's so nice. So this is a podcast where we're basically going to talk about video games. I know that's surprising, given the title, but we're going to reflect on some of the more maybe abstract issues that affect the industry. Maybe not, so much news-oriented, but just, casual chats about things you care about. Concepts in gaming, basically whatever we want. So I thought we would begin by going around and talking about our gaming backgrounds, because we are not journalists, we are not experts at all. Some of us have barely even played Nintendo consoles. So let's talk about that. First,
Looking at you, Taehoon.
Yeah, exactly. So Taehoon, why don't you start off telling us a little bit about where you come from gaming-wise?
Sure thing. Okay, let's see. My first exposure to video games comes from my father, actually. He one day bought the PlayStation, the original PSX, and he bought the game Medieval with the console, and it was his first time seeing a video game console. That was my first time, and holding a controller and playing something. It was the beginning. I guess that's the very beginning of my gaming career. So thanks to my dad, I got exposed to video games, and so and then I started with PlayStation. I played Medieval with my dad. Although I usually don't have any idea what was happening back then, but I just played along. I just played along, and as we started to get more exposed to games, when I was one day looking through a catalog to buy to see what's a new good PlayStation 1 game to buy, and on the catalog it had a big page about this thing called Pokemon Red and Blue.
Ooh.
And that was when I looked at Charizard back then, it was like, wow, okay, this looks something cool. This looks like something I could get into.
Right.
What is it? But I realized it wasn't something PlayStation. It said Game Boy, and I'm like, oh, what? What is a Game Boy? So we actually went to, I believe it was called Dick Smith back then, and I went to the store and with my mom, and then we looked around, found out what a Game Boy was, that it was a handheld. So that's when I realized that, hey, there's not only just consoles, but there are actual handheld games where I can play games wherever I want. And that was to me, that was mind blowing. I do a lot of, going around places, and to play games on the go was something very appealing to me, I guess.
How old were you at this
point? At this point, I was 6. I was
Wow.
6. I'm 6.
Wow.
Yeah. And So through Pokemon was my first exposure to a Nintendo, gaming system, and then through Game Boy, I learned about the N64, and then I bought that. Rest is history. And then ever since then, I've always played on Nintendo and Sony consoles. So I've owned the Nintendo 64, GameCube, the Wii, the DS, and the Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy SP, even.
Yes.
Yeah, I had all those. And PlayStation wise, I I've had all consoles, PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and the PSP and the Vita. I just don't have the latest ones, so I still have yet to get a Wii U, 3DS, and a PS4. But, that's where my gaming origins come from, really. And it really took off with Pokemon and Crash Bandicoot. Like, Crash Bandicoot, like, me and my family would, like, play hours and hours of that game.
Really?
Like, we were addicted to Crash Bandicoot. So, yeah, so my launch into, like, real gaming was, like, Crash Bandicoot and Pokemon, really. That's where, my gaming history starts off. Yeah, so, that's a bit of my background.
That's cool. I've never actually. I don't think I've ever actually played a Crash Bandicoot game, despite owning.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like every
You've
PlayStation.
never played?
Yeah, I'm
I
serious.
don't think I ever played one either.
Wow, you guys are missing out. You guys missed out on that. Wow. Okay. Well, let's see if we can organize something where we can play Crash Bandicoot. I believe on the PlayStation Store we can buy the PS1s, and then maybe one day.
Yeah, they do have.
Yeah, and then one day we'll play it. We'll play it, and then see what my childhood was all about.
All right. Well, what about you, Nardi? Where do you kick into this lovely habit?
All right, so I was kind of a little bit of a late bloomer to the whole, consoles.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, my first game experience was arcade games, specifically Street Fighter 2.
That's hardcore.
My family we actually owned the arcade machine. I mean, I used to have it for business. It kind of changed his business goals, so we kept the machine, had my garage, and I would just spend hours, playing that, invite my friends over, but, do verses, try to beat the game with all the characters, like things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you always
And
have?
then my first
Did you always have like?
traditional-
Did you always have, people at your house like just lining up to play Street Fighter? The Street Fighter cabinet that was just in there.
Nothing like that, but, some of my close friends would, hang out and just, play that, because I didn't have a console, so that was our thing to do.
Right.
And my first experience with traditional gaming was probably the Game Boy Color. Or it was like that tealish one. I got for my birthday. I think I had turned 7.
I love this.
Yeah,
I
it's
love,
about
I love
7.
how young you guys were, like when you got infected.
And then from there, first big game I got, Pokemon Blue.
Good.
I was
Man.
like right at the hype of, Pokemon Red and Blue were like the games to own.
Definitely.
And what I got for
Yes.
Christmas that year, and I was ecstatic. Then from there, I've only owned Nintendo consoles for the most part. So I had Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, had the DS, which actually I bought off a friend of mine because he wanted to get a PSP. But he had just
Alright.
gotten the DS, didn't want it anymore, so I got off of him for like $100. So good deal on my part. I had a GameCube. Actually ended up getting the Game Boy Player attachment for it.
Yes, I had
Not
that
sure if you
too.
guys remember that. Yeah, that was fun.
I used it for one
Playing
game.
games on the... Which one?
I think it was Wind Waker. You had like the Tingle connection.
Okay. Yep.
It was terrible.
But yeah, so had the GameCube, had Nintendo Wii. I actually have 2 of them. I actually burnt out the optic drive playing Call of Duty Black Ops on it.
Oh boy.
I realized that. And as of late, I've been kind of doing some dabbling in PC gaming. Nothing, too big. We'll get into, I guess, later on.
Right.
I mean, aside from that, I guess the consoles I've owned, but, I've played on my friends' consoles. I've played PS2, PS3, Xbox 360, PS4. So I kind of, experienced the full spectrum of gaming.
Right.
That's good.
That's good. You know what? It's good to color yourself. Get a whole breadth of experiences, not just stick to one console.
Yeah. Man, I love Nintendo and all, but I can value like a good Microsoft exclusive game like the Halo series, things like that. So
Yeah, sure. Everybody loves Halo. Come on. Everybody loves Halo.
Sure do. Everyone on the show does love Halo. Yep.
how about you, Sharad? What's your gaming background?
All right. Well, I mean, I don't like to brag, but I probably owned more consoles than both of you. So I'm like, I feel like I'm the elder.
Well, yeah, because you're like 50.
I'm not 50. I'm a few hairs shy of 30. Just so
True
that's out
that.
there. I can look back on this podcast when I'm 35 and just marvel at it. You know how energetic I was, how passionate I was, how in the moment I was. Well, the first game I ever played would be Super Mario Brothers 2, I want to say. Yeah, it was 2. My parents had a friend who had an NES, and I played that because I remember, digging up turnips and Duck Hunt. So that was my very first experience with a console. And then eventually my parents bought me.
How old were you?
Oh God, I was probably, I don't know, 6 maybe.
But just a quick disclaimer to everybody listening. We're actually doing this over Skype from 3 different countries, so if the audio kind of goes in and out, it's because internet connection. So.
Right. I probably should have mentioned that at the beginning. Thank you, Nardi.
No problem.
We're global.
We are a force. So anyway, my parents bought me a SNES for Christmas, and that was bundled with Super Mario World and another controller, I think. Yeah, and it came with another controller. And that was just like, that was my real gateway drug. Like I was hooked from your first moments on Dinosaur Island. I think the first level is called. And there's actual, I've mentioned this before, but there's, in our private conversations, but there's actually footage of me getting addicted to Super Mario World. Like you can see me sitting there, and my sister is off singing or something like that, and my mother has the video camera focused on her, and then it pans back over to me, and she asks me a question. I kind of like, and then like I'm like staring at the screen, and I got a chance to see that recently, and it was just kind of a real eye-opening experience. And then one day I went over to my friend who lives across the street. He had A Link to the Past.
Oh boy.
And once I saw A Link to the Past, it was done. I
Jail.
bought that. Well, I didn't buy it, but from there I moved. I think I went straight to the 64. At the time,
Okay.
Yeah, I went straight to the 64. That came with Mario 64. Obviously, I had also same friend. Had Mario 64, and I just remember going over to his house again and seeing like what is, you could move around in a fully 3D world, like my mind couldn't take it, so I had to have one of those. Unfortunately, probably to my mother's chagrin, my father got me a 64 with Mortal Kombat Trilogy.
Oh boy.
For Christmas. Which I love Mortal Kombat Trilogy now. I think it's one of my favorite Mortal Kombat games. But it's kind of a violent game for where I was at the time. I forget how old I was. But it was, I had wanted Super Mario, but I really I wanted to show him that I appreciated the Mortal Kombat. So I played Mortal Kombat for a while. I didn't really get fighting games at that point. Now I'm like a nut about them, but I eventually got Super Mario, and then Mario Kart 64, which people apparently don't like. I'm finding now, just reading on the internet, people did not like that game, and that's kind of weird because I loved it as a kid. You could play as Wario if you were into that sort of thing. And I only had a few, cartridges for that, maybe 6 or 7 ultimately. I had Donkey Kong 64, Star Fox, of course. Star Fox 64, one of my favorite games to this day.
Oh, classic.
Mm-hmm. Then I moved to a PlayStation, and the first game I got on PlayStation is Xenogears, which is a JRPG that involves mechs and, very JRPG-like storytelling. It's about 70 hours long, and I'm sure I'll get into that at some point. But I also got a PS2 after that, and I got Dark Cloud with that. And I sold Dark Cloud at some point, and I regret that. Probably every day because people like that, and I never really got into it. I feel like if I put the time in now, now that I'm older, I would probably appreciate it. Then I got a GameCube, an Xbox, and then I moved to a 360. Actually went through two different GameCubes because I had a black one at first, and then that broke. Then I moved to a purple one. I had a Dreamcast. I've had every Game Boy except for the first one. The 3DS. I don't have that yet. Do you still consider 3DS a Game Boy system?
Not really.
No?
I think once like the DS got launched, it kind of like an evolution from the Game Boy era into the next generation.
Yeah. I don't know. I always kind of considered it Game Boy-esque. It still kind of reminds me of a Game Boy.
I guess the first gen DS, I mean, you could still play Game Boy Advance games in it, but I think once they got rid of that capability, then you fully reached a new evolution of handheld.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember where it was. I got sidetracked by the Game Boy thing. Oh, Dreamcast. Then I have PS3, 360, and now I'm, current gen with PS4. So, I guess that's a quick rundown.
Current gen status.
Yes, I love the current gen. The DualShock 4 is the most comfortable controller they have ever constructed.
Without a doubt.
I love it so much.
Well, I guess you learn by
that's no debate there.
I mean, I didn't think the DualShock 3 had anything wrong with it at first. And then I started going online and I saw that it was just reviled as an input device. And then once I switched over to the DualShock 4, going back is an awful experience. Just everything about it feels terrible.
For me, the DualShock 4, it just felt sturdier.
Absolutely.
Open I felt if I press a button too hard, it's gonna break the whole entire controller.
Right.
But now it feels like a solid controller for hardcore gamers.
Exactly. Yeah. And just the dips. I'm holding one right now. The dips and the thumbstick. Just masterpiece. So I guess that's it for our backgrounds. Unless there's anything you guys wanted to add.
No, I think that's it on my end.
No, I think we're set to move on to our main topic today.
Okay.
Which is what, Sharad?
It is E3. You guys remember E3?
No,
sure. that big event, right? That happened just about a month ago.
A month
ago.
Only a month.
Only a month.
I mean, who shows up to a party that starts at 10 o'clock? The answer is
Fashionably.
Yeah, right. The lame kids do. We're not lame kids. So I figured we'd do a post-mortem for this episode of E3. Just going over highlights. Where do you hope gaming is going to go from this E3? It was kind of a weird one. Just general thoughts about what you're excited for. If you pre-ordered anything, which I don't know why you would encourage that, but
different episode.
Yeah, exactly. So Nardi, why don't we start with you? What did you like from E3? What are you looking forward to?
Well, I like this. I guess for me, the big ones were out of Nintendo.
Right.
you had the little teaser for a new Zelda game.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the new information about the new Smash Bros. Game coming out.
Right.
Because when the Wii U came out, fans were kind of expecting the big Legend of Zelda game, and we got the Wind Waker reboot, but people kind of want a new game because they saw the initial kind of a tech demo they had for the Wii U a few years back, and it showed a Zelda game. People are like, "Oh, cool, it's gonna be a launch title."
Yeah.
Wii U launches, and then nothing. Time goes on, still nothing. So it's kind of what fans are kind of waiting for.
So, I mean, I was pretty disappointed that the first Legend of Zelda game that would hit a new Nintendo console is a remake of a game that not everybody liked. Although I'm finding a lot more people liked Wind Waker than I originally thought. I mean, I'm okay with it. I don't hate it outright, but it's kind of a strange one to me. And I don't mean just because of the art style. I really enjoy the art style, actually, but there's just something about it.
It kind of like a cult following. At first people were comparing that to Ocarina of Time, you had the big graphics jump.
Sure.
Well, it grew on people, It was a nice little change. You had, a good story.
Well, I don't want to watch over Twilight Princess here. I mean, I enjoyed Twilight Princess.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Yeah, sorry, continue.
We had a new Zelda game. It looks like they're going to be going in the same kind of art direction as Skyward Sword, which some people enjoyed, some people weren't a fan of. Me personally, I like it. I'm curious to see how it looks on the Wii U graphics. That's kind of all we got out of the little teaser we got. It's going to be more of an open world game, which is kind of a throwback to the original series, original games in the series.
Right.
We're kind of the dungeons out of order. You have more room to roam in, as opposed to kind of more linear games, the later series, the later ones.
I'm curious. I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on Zelda, but I'm curious if it's going to be what does an open world Zelda mean? And have the other Zeldas not been open world? I mean, because in A Link to the Past, you can dungeon skip technically. I think if you know what you're doing, but not usually, unless I'm mistaken horribly. But
go
ahead.
You really couldn't complete the dungeons too much out of order, but you can go to them, kind of experience, and then figure out oh, I shouldn't go this this far, and kind of retrace your steps and find the right direction.
Right.
It's the newer games is kind of they blatantly told you can't do this, go here instead.
Right.
So it wasn't a true open world, but you had room for trial and error.
Okay. I guess I accept that. I just want to see what an open world, in quotes, means. What open world Zelda means.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll find out. The game's supposed to come out. It looks like 2015, so we have a wait. And things can change also from now until then.
Sure.
They can completely scrap the art direction for the game. They can, completely change other aspects of the game we haven't even seen yet. So
I hope not.
It's a little too soon to tell, but yeah. I guess the other big game out of Nintendo, got a little more announcements. Super Smash Bros.
Yeah.
Was a fan favorite. I mean, so probably I'm liking what I'm seeing now. They're gonna have it out for the Wii U and the 3DS,
right?
Which is the first. Usually, it's only been on the console, so having it now in a handheld is gonna attract a new fan base also.
Yeah.
And the character pool, very extensive. Looks like they're bringing back all the characters from Brawl, and a few new ones. Just name a few off the top of my head. Little Mac from Punch Out.
Oh yeah,
that's a bit of a throwback. Yeah. They're bringing in Mega Man.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and Pac-Man.
Pac-Man, yeah. Pac-Man was announced for E3, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what the thing was.
He was announced at E3. I don't know. I guess they put in Pac-Man also because Bandai Namco is also helping develop Super Smash Bros. With Nintendo. They're helping out, so I think that was a good way of saying, hey, let's put in Pac-Man, one of our own characters, have a Pac-Man, and so that's I think that's how it came about, of like putting Pac-Man in.
Does it feel natural though, or is it kind of shoehorned in?
I don't know. Natural. I don't know about natural. Like, to me, like Mega Man feels natural to be in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U 3DS because it has Nintendo history. You know what I mean? Like, it has Nintendo history. I don't think Pac-Man has much of a huge Nintendo history kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, Mega Man
the game
has,
there.
but like, yeah. But like Pac-Man, not sure. Speaking of roster, like I think so far it's a pretty good roster. I reckon. I've been hearing people say that maybe there's a bit too many Pokemon in the game.
Yeah.
I believe there's like how many is there? Like 6? Like
it's something like that.
They just announced Greninja from Pokemon in the game also.
Yeah, Greninja. Yeah, so there's Greninja, Charizard, Pikachu as always.
I am losing track of Pokemon.
Actually, yeah, no, that's 3. That's 3. Oh no, Lucario, that's 4. Lucario's 4.
I remember Lucario.
Yeah, I was pretty good with Lucario in Brawl. I liked him. And
I think that's it.
Yeah, there's 4. There's 4 so far. 4 Pokemon.
Yeah. That's not too bad.
That's not too bad. Like I guess because in like Brawl, because they put 3 Pokemon into one character, the Pokemon trainer, that was
right.
that people were more than fine with that. But then now if you have like 4 separate Pokemon, people are like, maybe it's a bit too much. But I don't know. I think it's not too bad. I don't think it's a huge issue per se from the roster. Of course, people are still asking, like, people are still saying, like, okay, where's, like, Captain Falcon, like, fan favorites like that. I'm sure he's going to appear, but, yeah, I mean, so far the roster is looking pretty good, I'd say. And, from E3 response, people say it's a very good game, the quality you expect from a Super Smash game. It's definitely something anyone remotely interested in Super Smash Bros., they should be interested in, looking forward to getting either versions of both, really.
And what about that Wii Fit trainer, huh? People are clamoring for that one.
Well, I mean, that kind of makes sense because
Wii Fit trainer, yeah.
Well, the Wii Fit did really good. I mean, I don't think that people initially make it a little gimmick that Nintendo was launching, but it took off pretty well. So I guess throwing the trainer wasn't the worst thing in the world.
I guess. I don't know. It seems like awkward or something. It's the new Mr. Game &
I don't know.
Watch.
The more awkward
Mr. Game & Watch has charm.
Mii Fighter.
Oh, I don't. Ugh.
Wait, what?
What a terrible idea.
The Mii Fighter. Yeah, the Mii Fighter. Yeah.
Well, that's only going to be for offline,
like
though. So if you take the game online, I don't think you can bring your Mii Fighters over.
Right. I don't know. I really didn't. That left me with a bad taste in my mouth.
Maybe kind of a way for people to kind of create their own characters. So you could in theory create like a an air quote Master Chief like character and put it in the game. You can do kind of like little gimmicky things with your friends, that sort of stuff. So
I guess.
Fair enough. What is it? They also managed to split up Zelda so that Zelda and Sheik are 2 separate characters instead of one Brawl. Yeah, they're 2 separates.
Same with Samus also.
Just like
Samus.
Yeah. I don't know if they did that to expand the roster, but I think it's a good idea they did that.
I'd say almost.
Sometimes
definitely.
It's a bit hard to put 2 fighting profiles in one guy. That's a bit hard to master. But like the fact that they split them up, I think that's a good approach to this.
I don't think.
Go ahead, Shard.
I don't think it is, like hard to do because fighting games, you have characters with stance changes, and that gives them completely different movesets. Like Gen from Street Fighter 4. He has two different stances. That gives him two completely different movesets. I mean, like, it worked for Melee. I was a big fan of the whole Zelda Sheik thing in Melee. I don't know. I think.
And for those of you who are kind of new to the series, in Melee and Brawl, you can actually basically change Zelda into Sheik and, vice versa.
Right.
And then for Samus in Brawl, if you used your finisher, you actually became Zero Suit Samus. So.
Oh, is that what happened? I had to sit Brawl out because my Wii can't read dual layer discs, apparently. Or maybe just that one Brawl.
It was a problem that some people had also. They tried fixing it, but, that's the past. But yeah, you use her big finisher move. You become Zero Suit Samus from, I think that was the Metroid reboot they did for the Game Boy Advance, I think.
Is that the first time she was?
I think it was like a playable character. I think it was the reboot.
I'm not a Metroid lore master, so I don't want to start throwing out crazy facts about Zebes or Zebes or whatever, and get things completely wrong. I do like Super Metroid though.
Yeah. I guess that's really my exciting things out of Nintendo. What did you guys see?
No Splatoon?
Hmm?
No Splatoon? You didn't think Splatoon looked cool?
Yeah, I didn't actually see the conference for Splatoon.
Oh, it's a very neat idea. Very do you know the Blob for the Wii?
Yeah.
It kind of has that.
Yeah.
Sort of air about it. It's really interesting. You should look it up. You can change into a squid and run along a paint trail. It's like a third person, what looks like multiplayer focused shooter almost, but I almost hesitate to call it that because it's not it's not violent or anything. You're just shooting paint. But it looks interesting, and a lot of people, it's a new IP from Nintendo, and I think that's cool, and I'm proud of them for putting it out there. I'm proud of you, Nintendo.
I mean, good effort on them. I mean, in terms of Nintendo-wise, the third-party effort came from the Japanese studios. You know how Devil's Third, originally a PS3, Xbox 360, and a PC game, and now it's a Wii U exclusive, just like how Bayonetta was, and now Bayonetta 2 is a Wii U exclusive. And from those developers themselves, they said they're more than happy to put it on Wii U. It's Nintendo decided to publish them, give them support. They make the game they want. And I mean, Bayonetta 2 looks great. It does. That looks great.
I think Platinum Games knows their action games.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, definitely.
I have a question then.
Yes, I think. Yeah.
So, all right, there's this kind of notion that Japanese developed games have sort of declined in the past, I don't know, maybe decade or so. Do you think the Wii U can serve as a viable platform to sort of reinvigorate the Japanese game dev scene?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, I think once the Wii U sales really kick up, that'll help in the long run.
Yeah. Do you think they will?
I think they will eventually, but they need, Smash Bros. To come out. They need the Zelda game to come out.
Yeah.
They need more of their, fan favorite, series to actually, hit home.
New Star Fox.
New Star Fox, that right there is gonna, bring us into older fans. So.
Like me, I will get a Wii U for Star Fox. If it's good. Not dinosaur. Planet.
I think that I reckon the PS4 will continue to be the generation leader
I think so.
throughout the gen. I reckon they've had a great head start. They overtook the Wii U in 4 months? Within 4 months. Wii U, despite the fact that the Wii U has been out and is cheaper than the PS4 and the Xbox One, it's a race between, I reckon, between Wii U and Xbox One for second place, I reckon. But I also don't think that the Wii U can match the Wii's numbers. I don't think.
No,
That's
no,
no,
that's that's the 100 million Wii has sold. I don't think Wii U can reach that level ever. No matter how much I mean, like Chris and Sharad said, they wait for system. People want the system sellers. You want the Super Smash Bros. They have Mario Kart 8, which provided a great boost for Wii U.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Oh yeah.
They just need more frequent heavy hitters coming out.
But I mean,
Just
why
need-
did the Wii do so well? I think it was because of shovelware. Like there was just if you throw enough anything at a wall, like something will stick. I think, and parents are just buying it because it's like, oh, it's like a toy kind of. I can play this with my kid, and
Right.
there's a lot of legitimately good games on the Wii. I just don't know. I don't think that the Wii U has both the shovelware, which it's unfortunate that the Wii needed that, but I think that's why they put up the numbers that they did. But I think, and I've seen a lot less shovelware on the Wii U than the Wii, but I think that the Wii U still needs like those weird games, like No More Heroes, which I'm a huge fan of. And what was that? What was that really violent minigame collection that was in black and white for the Wii?
Oh,
I can't believe I don't remember it.
The one with the chainsaw guy, right?
Yeah. What was that called?
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
It was made. Wasn't it made by Platinum Games? No.
Was it Platinum? Because we all Google it once.
Episode 1, give us a little bit of slack.
I can just edit all of this out later.
Oh, Mad World.
Mad World.
Mad
Yes,
World.
thank you. Yeah, it was. I mean, I never actually managed to get my hands on a copy of that, but it looked super interesting, and it always got good reviews, and I kept meaning to. I wanted to pick it up, but I never got around to it. But I have I'm just looking at my Wii.
Well, the big thing though we had,
Rhythm
the Wii
Heaven.
also going for it too is that it was different. Motion controls. That was like the first time we ever saw it.
Right.
Prior to that, everything was more or less just a controller based.
Yeah.
So it had the big gimmick factor. For the Wii U, it had the little tablet controller, but at this point we already had the iPads, the Android tablet, so it wasn't really a fresh gimmick.
Right. No, that's a really good point. I didn't even consider that.
And also kind of contributing factor to the big sales gap.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm interested to see what happens to the Wii U. I'm going to pick one up at some point, probably towards the end of its life cycle when it's cheap. But yeah, nothing's really compelling me to run out and get one, even after the decent showing Nintendo had at E3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get the Nintendo consoles for the multiplayer. So they have Mario Kart 8 out, and I intend to also pick up a Wii U eventually. For games like Mario Kart 8 and Super Smash Bros. I think those are very worthy games of getting a console. Like I said, system sellers,
Right.
Yeah, like I said, just Nintendo needs more frequency, I guess. I think last year, there was very bare amounts of games coming out for Wii U,
Yeah.
And
yeah, people forgot about it.
In terms of and it's also, yeah, I mean, and it's also a lot of Western developers that aren't really supporting it, Sure, you had Ubisoft from the beginning supporting it, but then now they delayed the Watch Dogs Wii U version. That gets delayed, and you don't see much Western support from it. And even EA's dropped the ball on them. So a lot of this is coming from Japanese studios, they're like, so I guess going back to your original question and how this whole thing started of, can Nintendo be a platform for reviving that kind of Japanese games? I think it can assist that, but
Not on its
you're
own.
gonna need the other two consoles as well. You need the whole entire market to like rejuvenate, Japanese gaming.
Let's
Well,
get
I mean,
You think it would make more sense for that Japanese game developers to focus on the 3DS then? Because that's been selling very well.
Yeah.
And they already have Smash Bros. On the 3DS, so I think it makes sense to focus more on the handheld and kind of phase the Wii U out.
Phase the Wii U out. Wow.
I think I'd ever
Harsh
say that,
words.
but I mean, from a strictly business standpoint, I think it makes more sense to latch on to Nintendo's, really good selling 3DS, or I think it makes sense to kind of, hold on to the Wii U and hope sales improve and all that nonsense.
Right.
I mean, the 3DS is like selling hotcakes. Like it's selling just slightly less than the PS4 on a weekly basis.
The 3DS.
Like the 3DS. Like according to VG Charts is my source.
Okay.
PS4 has been consistently number one worldwide per week. But just recently, like the 3DS has been number one, and then went back to PS4. But like, it's always been PS4 and then like 3DS. So like, in the 3DS and the PS4 has been selling like 100K each week, which is impressive,
Right.
When Vita, on the other hand, isn't doing as hot, So like, and same as the Wii U, so it's like a different thing. And I've read a lot of like internet troll comments about how Nintendo should just get out of the entire like hardware business and just focus on software. And people are actually like trying to want to make that happen or something. I don't know, but like,
I mean that.
I don't think Nintendo will get out of the hardware business.
Oh no, definitely
like,
not.
they have. Yeah,
I don't know, guys. Like, I want to believe that they can keep it up, but even I was having a conversation with one of my friends like a year ago, maybe. It was after, I think it was maybe post E3. We were just talking about everything, and I was saying I think that Nintendo is going to go the way of Sega, and I don't know. I kind of see that happening, maybe somewhere down the road, not soon, but I don't know. It's not. They're not looking so great right now. They need to innovate, and they're not doing that. So, whatever. I don't know.
I mean, I think that the handhelds will
thing is,
always keep Nintendo around the hardware side of things, because they got they had. I mean, original Game Boy until now, like that's always been one of like their big sellers. I think worst case scenario, let's say the Wii U does flop miserably, Nintendo will always keep a handheld in their inventory of hardware.
Right.
I think eventually, like, Nintendo will bounce back, like maybe next gen or something, like, I don't think just because maybe one gen they're not doing as well as they should, isn't gonna like impact them like real hard in the long run. Like right now, just because the Wii U isn't like isn't like the generation leader or something, it's not all doomed for Nintendo. Like, they have they have the innovators and they have the creative people. They have Miyamoto-san. He's a legend.
Oh, absolutely.
Legend, he will come up with something. He'll save Nintendo. He'll save Nintendo.
Like a phoenix. Miyamoto is a phoenix rising out of the rubble that is Nintendo today.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks super stoked to be playing that new Star Fox, right? That's got to be something.
I mean, yeah, that's his game.
I think it's still kind of fun to watch him, get all giggly over games. I like seeing that,
Well, you guys want to jump gear from Nintendo and move on to some of the other developers? Anything guys saw, caught your fancy?
Something not Nintendo-y. Should Should we dive into Sony, or should we leave that for the end? I have the most to say about Sony.
We'll say it for the end then.
All right. So let's talk about Microsoft, maybe.
Or can we just talk about like, I don't know, like the rest of E3 in general, not just Microsoft. Because a lot of these things are like, a lot of Sony and Microsoft can be covered with like the third party people as well, you know.
Right. Well, the third party presents during their press conferences, so I don't know if you wanted to.
Also, are we doing by conference then?
You
like,
know, we're very, like I said, this is a very casual podcast, so we're kind of changing the format as we go.
Sure.
We're mercurial.
What?
I said we're mercurial. Just go with it. Go.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's bring up. Let's just bring up the whole, you know, PlayStation and Xbox stuff and third party things. Let me start with EA. Okay. Let's start with
why?
EA. Let's get a little negativity out first.
Oh man.
Despite EA being, according to what I forget what the website is, but like, you know, EA is like America's worst company like 2 years in a row. Okay.
I think they're ranked 2 now. I have to double check on that, but
who overtook them?
Hmm?
Who overtook them?
Actually, I'm gonna Google that right now. I thought they lost the throne.
Oh well. Okay, yeah. So, you know, I like it. I like EA. Well, I don't like EA. I support them because they quite frankly have games that I'm interested in. You know, the Battlefield franchise.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the whole BioWare things. You know, Mass Effect, Dragon Age. I love it all. The only thing, of course, I don't like is like their the sports stuff. I'm not into the sports games, but like, and then they're partners of, you know, other publishers, you know, I mean other studios, and they publish good EA games, you know, like Mirror's Edge also, Crisis, you know, like I like the games EA puts out, and quite frankly, and for me, I'm not like a guy who like buys DLC or like buys like second like pre-owned games, so like No, I don't know. I rarely buy DLC and never buy pre-owned games. So,
really?
So them doing at one time, you know, doing the online pass, all that, like it never really affected me. So I never really had like hatred towards EA.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so coming from that, you know, I always look forward to EA's conference because, like I said, I named all those franchises. Well, their conference, I don't think was anything near good. You know, like the only games they had like full presentations was like of Dragon Age, Inquisition, and the sports games.
Which I still don't like what they're doing with Dragon Age.
I love Dragon Age. I love it.
Oh, and going on the sports games tangent real fast, for the EA Sports UFC game.
Yes.
It was actually kind of ticked off because the current UFC bantamweight champion wasn't even on the roster for the game.
He wasn't on the roster?
Nope.
Whoa.
But he's going to be a DLC.
Oh, DLC.
Seriously?
Yeah, I mean, he just won a title a little while back, but before that, I think he was ranked like number 7 in the division, and they didn't even include him in the game. So that kind of, you know, created some interesting discussion board comments.
They're using his popularity to like gate him out of the game.
Well, now they're bringing him in, I guess it's, you know, DLC, but initially
Is it
he wasn't even
if it's
included.
free or not?
Don't think they've said. I thought it'll
EA.
probably be free. I mean,
I have to ask.
I think usually their character DLCs tends to be free.
I mean, because if it's not, then that is fucked up.
Yeah. So just a little, you know, bit of trivia there for you guys.
Well, thank you.
But mind you, they include Bruce Lee. So.
Oh yeah, Bruce
that
Lee
was
skin.
cool.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah. But the rest were like, for EA, it was like Mirror's Edge developer commentary,
Right.
dev diary, you know, Mass Effect. Like I was really hoping that they would announce the next Mass Effect, but I guess they didn't. Also because so that they don't take away the hype from Dragon Age, and then they can once Dragon Age is out later on this year in October,
right?
They can be like, boom, here's the next Max Effect. But still, that was a dev diary. Oh, look what direction we're taking it in. It was cool and all, and then the Star Wars Battlefront, with DICE, they're like, oh, we go to the multiple areas.
Hey guys, Battlefront exists, so don't leave.
Yeah, I don't know, those things can easily be done and just posted on YouTube casually, if you're going to do a conference, at least have, gameplay things to show. Even Criterion's new game, they only showed, concept. They don't even have a title for that game.
Right.
And they showed it off, it's like, you guys just brought out really early games, I don't know when Mirror's Edge is going to come out, but, even last year they had at least some sort of, cool CG trailer, I think it was in-game, actually. No, a cool, really good, gameplay-ish trailer, and, that was great, but, they couldn't do another one for this year, at least, I don't know,
I'm excited that they showed Mirror's Edge because, I'm happy to see someone care about Mirror's Edge, basically.
Oh, and I did check.
I love the game.
Oh, and real quick, EA was not voted the worst company. A certain cable company was actually voted the worst.
Who was it? Throw shade now.
I'll leave that one for the fans to figure out. Don't want to get sued. Episode 1.
We're journalists. It's okay. We're experts. I said it this morning. Wait, where is EA?
They had a little bracket thing this time, and they didn't make it past the first round.
Oh, they're slipping on their horribleness.
Yeah.
They're improving. Good sign. Good stuff.
That's the voice of Taehoon Kim, our EA rep.
Yeah, I hope. I definitely think overall next year will be a much better E3 for everyone, and I think next year EA needs to bring out those big guns. Show here's Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront. Here is the next Max Effect. Here is Mirror's Edge gameplay. Boom, 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 and then you got a solid showing. Which is something that Ubisoft. Which will now move on to Ubisoft then.
Yeah.
Ubisoft does well every year. They might have.
Whoa! Are we just glossing over Hardline? Really?
Oh, okay.
Well,
I forgot that. I was too involved. I was too much reminiscing about Mirror's Edge.
Okay.
Okay. Battlefield Hardline. It looks good, but I'm just not, like I said, super excited for it right now. I don't think. There's a lot of people who say, oh, it's just the expansion of Battlefield 4, that it should be DLC, not a full game, blah, blah, blah. I think that's a bit ridiculous.
That's what it looks like. Have you seen matches being played? That's what it looks like.
Yes, I did. And I know I did. But, that's like saying, Battlefield 4 is, the same, similar to Battlefield 3. You look at Battlefield 3 matches and Battlefield 4 matches, they're very similar. What do you want? So Hardline
innovation.
Well, I guess the first-person shooters that try to keep things realistic to a limit, you can really only innovate so much.
I don't know. I'm tired of formulaic games at this point, and I'm getting old.
I don't know. I liked what I saw, but it's nothing wow, I need to get it right now. I have the strong urge to buy it.
I just think it was funny the way that they presented it. It was in Battlefield Hardline, the smoke goes up, but you can play at kiosks back there right now, and everybody's kind of okay, and it was just so lackluster. I felt almost bad for them. But...
Pretty much. So okay, so moving on to Ubisoft, I said, Ubisoft has always been consistent, their showings, I think. It's the same franchise is showing every year, but I love how they always have a surprise at the end, 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago that they did Watch Dogs? the unveiling of Watch Dogs? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Assassin's
Yes.
12, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. And last year was Division. It was the Division. And this year it's now Rainbow Six Siege. I like that kind of surprise stuff at the end they do, while showcasing like the games that we already know, like Far Cry 4 and Assassin's Creed Unity. I'm a huge fan of Assassin's Creed. I think we all are, right? And
Yeah, I'm a decent. I'm a decent-sized fan.
A decent. Oh yeah, okay. Regardless, we're all fans, and I was very impressed. Like, I've always liked every Assassin's Creed game, so like I never had like huge problems with any of them, and so to see Unity in a time period that I wanted as well, the French Revolution, I think that would be a good setting, and it's good.
That's what you had your heart set on, French Revolution. You're like, yeah, French Revolution. That's where I want Assassin's Creed to go next. Like,
yeah, I mean, like, no, well, I didn't want it to be like the next one, but like, I want, like, on my list was like things like the French Revolution, feudal
ninjas and shoguns and
like China, or give some Asia stuff,
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
I definitely think they should definitely take it that way next. But French Revolution was definitely one of the interesting parts. I thought, that could be really cool. And they made it look cool, and so now they ditched the multiplayer, the multiplayer aspect of it, and with the co-op style, which I think is very cool as well. I enjoyed all the multiplayer Assassin's Creeds. It was something, especially it started from Brotherhood, that multiplayer was very, I guess it was fresh, innovative. And I was hooked on that, and I like the multiplayers. And to see them say, we're going to put effort into the co-op, they're trying something new, So kudos to them, and it looked great. It looked great.
It looks good.
And the fact it's on next gen.
Yeah, I mean, I
continue.
I think that if it has to be one of those things where, like, the co-op is always on sort of deal, which is sort of what Watch Dogs has. It's not co-op, but it's if multiplayer is just always like if if you get invaded by an assassin or something like that, which can happen.
Online interaction is always on. Yeah.
It is. We know that.
No, I mean, like, for Watch Dogs meant.
Yeah.
What is?
For Watch Dogs, you can get hacked by somebody. Like if you're driving down the street, or if you're just coming out of a mission, you have someone hack you, and it's like it's fun, but sometimes it can be a little, annoying, I guess.
I don't think that Unity is a always online connected world. I think I believe they said certain missions have that story co-op thing. Some things you still have to do by yourself, as Arno,
Right.
but they're like co-op missions. Like, it's not like an always online persistent world. So that's something good, I guess. And the fact that it's only current gen only with PS4, Xbox, and PC. That's what I like to see, now, like, move on, like, so that you're not limited by last gen technology, because you can't have such a huge difference, like, in features and offerings between, like, current gen and last gen. So I like the fact that now developers are, just doing current gen stuff, PS4, Xbox One, and pushing games forward. And so that's what they're doing with Assassin's Creed Unity. And recently Ubisoft said, Unity is a great example of what current gen consoles can do. And I believe them, and like gameplay has shown that, the graphics are great for open world, and they're doing 4-player online co-op.
I love how many people are in the street. That blew my mind.
Yeah. So, that's all very impressive stuff to see. So, Assassin's Creed, it was very, very good to see, very exciting. And one of the things I always looked forward to in E3 is always Assassin's Creed's E3 trailers, the CG trailers. I'm a sucker for those, those cool moments, cool CG trailers.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't disappoint. They don't disappoint. And this year, once again, they delivered.
What the hell happened to Comet?
They said Ubisoft said they'll announce it very soon. Very soon. I don't think they would have.
Is that the internal memo that was going around that you have access to?
No, Ubisoft. The CEO Yves just recently said, they'll announce it soon enough. I don't think they would have done it at E3 because that would take away attention from Unity. They wanted to really focus on here's Unity, here's what we're going to do with it, and then hopefully within the next few weeks they'll probably announce it. Hopefully, there's that. Ubisoft always has a great.
You heard it here first, folks. Assassin's Creed Comet is coming very soon.
Announced very soon. Yep. What else? Far Cry. I'm not a big Far Cry guy. I played 3.
3 was great.
I can understand why people liked it a lot. I wasn't wowed by it, but I think this.
I'm intrigued by the elephant physics.
The elephant physics, Chris. You want to talk about that one?
Now, I'll just get more out of the game, but yeah, elephants. We shall see how this turns out.
E3 2014, Year of the Elephant. Can we make that? Can we make that something? It was year of the bow, and then Year of Luigi, which may or may not still be going on. Yeah, I don't know. I think Far Cry 4 looks really interesting. I'm definitely into this new villain that they have. Like boss on steroids. I didn't get all the way through 3, but I played enough of it to have a really good time with it. I'm probably still go back to it. And I was really interested in that DLC they put out with all that cheesy 80s future stuff. What was it called? Blood Dragon?
Blood Dragon.
Yeah.
So I think Far Cry 4. I will definitely get Far Cry 4 for the PS4. Yeah, I don't know. Ubisoft had a few good things. Wasn't crazy about the majority of their conference. What was that fitness one? Why does everybody have a fitness game?
I don't know. That's a Connect game, right? Because there's Connect, they want to support it. The best way, I guess, from their perspective, is to do fitness games.
I guess.
Yeah, it's a good way to show technology out. I think they're on the Connect version 2 now, so yeah, I guess people are interested in it.
On stage push-up matches. That's how you sell your game.
Yeah. Yep. I also like Just Dance 2015. I like playing that game.
Are you a Just Dance fan?
Yeah, I like Just Dance.
Can you be our Just Dance correspondent?
No, I'm not going to do that. I'll be Assassin's Creed correspondent.
Maybe we can send you to Ubisoft to report on. You can do special features. We can cut a few videos of you playing Just Dance and.
How about you send me to Ubisoft Montreal and I'll report on Assassin's Creed instead of Just Dance.
You know who's
on the budget?
who's developing Just Dance? Do you know which Ubisoft studio?
The one in Paris.
Paris? Okay.
Paris, yeah. It's the French guys that make it.
That could be the Canadians too.
Ubisoft always has this worldwide development thing. So it's not just the Ubisoft Paris one. There's other ones that do it, but they're the lead usually, I think. At least for Just Dance 4 it was. I like Just Dance 2015, what they have to offer on that. What about Rainbow Six Siege? What do you guys think about that?
Are any of us really big Rainbow Six fans?
I haven't played them in a while, so I couldn't tell you much.
When I played Rainbow Six, it was I rented it, and I don't know. I had been used to a couple of first-person shooters. I think I'd played Half-Life at that point or something. Really simple. Just you got your gun and you're going. And then I got to Rainbow Six, and it was like, here, sit here at this menu for 10 minutes and choose your loadout and your squad and the route you're gonna take. And I was like, just give me the gun so I can go shoot stuff. And I didn't get it, at the time. So I don't really have that love for Rainbow Six. That being said, it did look neat, if they can deliver all that stuff, because the obviously pre-recorded voice chatter and things like that for the stage demo. But I mean, if they can pull something off, if they can pull off something like that, I don't know, good for them. I think it looks cool. Like, I like the destructibility of the environment. That little camera that rolls under the door, that was neat. And that's the extent of my impression of Rainbow Six.
I mean, I think it was pretty neat showing. But like I said, Battlefield Hardline, I liked what I saw, but it's nothing so far that's making me say I need that game.
Right.
So I'll keep my eyes on that. And same as Division. Division looks great. I love that. That's a game that screams yeah, I need that game.
Really?
Division looks great. Yeah. I like the post, the apocalyptic kind of games. Not, the disasters hit and we're gonna survive and all that. That kind of games I like. And
I guess
it's in New York and it's got great graphics. It's a shooter MMO. That's something pretty cool, I reckon. I like the premise of the game, so that I'm looking forward to, definitely.
Is that what the format is? It's a shooter MMO?
Yeah. It's sort of like Borderlands. How you when you shoot someone, you see the hit points you do. The damage you do, numerical values. It has all that. That was revealed last year's E3 when they did the demo.
I just did not pay attention to that game very well.
Yeah, so Division is something I'm definitely looking forward to. Anything else on Ubisoft?
No.
That was really it.
Okay. Well, what about just the other general third-party people?
Party people.
Yeah. I was, there are many games I was very interested in, but the ones that really were standouts, yes, these are the games I definitely have to get. I Batman Arkham Knight.
Of course.
Oh yeah.
That's definitely.
I'm still sulking in disappointment over the delay of that, but what can you do?
Yeah. I mean, it's all for the better. Delays are all for the better.
Not always.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, that is a really, really great looking game.
Yeah. And Destiny, of course. You all know that I've been hyping up Destiny for quite some time.
Oh, Destiny!
It is a fantastic game. Coming from someone.
Wait a second! It's a fantastic game. Out of the two of us, who has played Destiny?
I don't need to have played it to know.
Oh my god!
What is the thing I tell you? Believe in the hype. I tell you, when I hype stuff up, you got to believe it, and it comes out great. And whilst I've never really played in depth of Bungie games, aka Halos, because I've never really an Xbox. I've only played Halo very, very, very occasionally. With a friend. I've always admired what Bungie had done and their innovations, what they've done for the console FPS market, and for me to finally get the opportunity to play it on a PlayStation and Destiny, the whole premise of it, the sci-fi-ness, the FPS, every mechanic of it is very appealing to me, Very appealing. And that's something I always that's something I'm very looking forward to in Destiny. You know, I'm sad I could not even participate in the alpha or the beta that's coming up, but you know, I know when I pick up that game, when I eventually get a PS4, that's that I'm gonna be wowed by it.
Gentlemen, here's the thing about Destiny, and I
Let's hear
say
it.
this as someone who has, actually played the game, albeit an alpha. A lot of people seem to like it, generally. I was kind of lukewarm on it. The missions that you're given are out of context, which I can't fault the game for that. But there's just something about it. It feels very Halo like. It looks nice. The area that you're in, the first mission that you're in, is kind of Fallout-esque in some parts. But I don't know, something about it was just, maybe it was the move set that I had access to, that because you have special abilities apart from the weapons that you get, and I don't know, it just felt kind of like another sci-fi shooter. I'm not
Just another sci-fi shooter.
Yeah, it's got loot in it. Like, great, okay, thank you for the loot. Not Borderlands. I don't know.
Oh boy, oh boy. Look, we'll probably talk about Destiny another time.
We probably won't. Everybody listening to this, we probably won't talk about it ever
We
again.
probably will. Destiny will pop up.
Tiebreaker, we will.
That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, Destiny is something I am very much looking forward to. End of story. Next game, Call of Duty, Advanced Warfare. I was pretty happy.
I've never given a shit about a Call of Duty game, but this one, I kind of want to check out.
I like what they're doing.
Yeah,
Does that make
the smart grenade thing, that sold me. Smart grenades. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate right here. I
Alright.
kind of want to see them go back to the classic World War II games
Yeah.
instead. Because I had next gen engines, so you can do things like the D-Day landings, and have so many actual quote soldiers starting the beach at once. You have
Right.
the water effects, the fire effects, and explosion. You can really give that time frame justice.
You know
I
what
see
Sorry, no, go continue.
I want to see is a little jump back to what made Call of Duty. It was the World War II games. I like the modern warfare aspect. Like, it's nice and all, but next gen gives us a little bit of a throwback.
I think that's something that can be done, because there's
That
only
can
so
or can't?
no that can be done
Okay.
because there's only so much, I guess, futuristic things we can do. Like Black Ops 2 was based on futuristic things. Advanced Warfare is based on futuristic things, and Ghost is semi-future, I think. And at some point
they're what Ghost is.
oh gosh, but I reckon it would be a good point to start a new franchise based on the World War II setting. I think that's doable. And if anyone, probably Infinity Ward or something, or Treyarch really, because Treyarch, I'm inclined to believe next year they'll announce Black Ops 3. They do this trilogy thing. So announce Black Ops 3, and then it'll be Ghosts 2, and then Advanced Warfare 2, all that. So Treyarch will be the one who will be able to start fresh on a new Call of Duty franchise, and I think it's coming. I think it's coming. Don't know when, but it's something doable, and it's coming, I reckon.
This
Good
machine
fun.
has to
I know,
burn itself out
Treyarch
at some
work-
point, though, right?
This
machine has to burn itself out at some point, right? I mean, like you said, Nardi. I think that we should go back to World War II games. I think that's weird that came out of my mouth, because at one point there were so many World War II games. There's actually a new one that came out very recently, called Enemy Front, where you play as a writer. who's covering World War II. I should check that out if you're interested in playing a new World War II game.
Your objective: find a pencil.
Yeah, like, collect all the lost pages. You'll get a perk. Yeah, I think we need that needs to be shaken up a little bit. It's kind of
cool. Cause when Modern Warfare first came out, it was a new concept. Like going back to the Modern Warfare ideas. Then you had Battlefield doing the same thing also. So now it's time. We have a kind of oversaturation of the whole futuristic / modern military games. It's a little bit of throwback.
Right. And that's everything they said about Call of Duty, because no one cares.
Well, I mean, only say so much. It's like, okay, you're going to have...
Yeah, it's Call of Duty. It's more
emphasis on the multiplayer, Kevin Spacey. That's really it.
Kevin Spacey comes, he calls you to duty, and you duty it. So, that's the end of that.
Oh, and hover bikes.
Yes, hover bikes.
And hover bikes, yes.
Something Destiny also has.
It's like, okay, futuristic, fine. Like, hover bikes? Really? This ain't Star Wars.
It ain't Destiny, you mean.
And speaking of which, Activision owns both juggernauts. Like Destiny is soon to be Juggernaut, and Call of Duty is a Juggernaut FPS franchise itself. And Activision will continue to swim in money. They'll continue to swim in money. What other games was there? Oh god. Oh gosh. Evolve.
Evolve. Yeah.
Evolve is a very, very good looking game.
I forgot about Evolve until you mentioned it right now.
Evolve is very. I like the premise of it. 4 versus 1. It's something like I've always actually wanted to do. Like, why don't you play as the enemy? Like, what if you plays the enemy kind of thing? And the fact that they're doing it with 4v1, you're the monster and you evolve as you eat other creatures and then become stronger. I think that's a very good premise of the game. And they said after people playing it out at E3, they've already made balancing changes already.
Right.
It's good to see that developers are actively listening, and it's especially important for a game like this where balance is important. Balance, I guess, is important for any type of game. And it's good to know that they can get they're working really hard to make sure that the 4 hunters aren't overpowered, or the monster itself is just too OP. That's great to see. I look forward to Evolve. I look forward to the Kraken was cool.
I think it's a neat idea, but the thing is that you're going to need a group of people to play with.
Yeah, it's gonna be a problem
all the time, and because this is the kind of game that you don't want to get into. A game with a bunch of random people, because it's just there's not going to be any coordination, and if you're the hunters, is that what they're called collectively?
Yeah, hunters, yeah.
Then you're not going to have a very good time. There needs to be communication and a plan, and I think that if you're with a bunch of random people, it's not going to really work out in your favor too well. It looks neat. I'll get it. I don't know. I'm still torn.
Also on that base too, once the game starts losing its popularity and interactions dwindle down, you really can't enjoy the game when you're stuck in a lobby, waiting 2 hours to find out one other person playing the game.
Yeah, I mean, might as well just go and play something else.
Yeah. That could be a problem, the burnout, when people kind of get bored playing it, and I kind of stuck with the game where the big thing was the co-op, and now no one's playing it.
Right. Titanfall suffered the same thing. Nobody's talking about Titanfall anymore, and they just released DLC not that long ago. It's kind of unfortunate. Titanfall was fun. Moment of silence for Titanfall.
That's true. That's true.
Wow, that was a quick moment. Thank you, Ted.
Damn it, Tyler.
Oh gosh. What is it?
Okay, one thing I'm kind of interested to see, Grand Theft Auto 5 Now for next gen and PC. I think for the PC, I want to see how the modding community affects it.
They're gonna do such great things with it. I can't wait to see
They
it.
really are. I mean, seeing what they did with GTA 4's, modding,
Yeah.
GTA 5 is going to be incredible modding stuff, from the PC community. And it's good that Rockstar actually releases a PC version, like after the whole outcry of like, oh, why is there no PC version coming? They're actually doing it, which is great. Which is great.
The kind of problem that PC has is that they kind of push aside burner because everybody's talking about PS4, Xbox One, and the Wii U every now and then, but PC's still around.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, Rockstar kind of has. I don't want to say a jaded history with PC, but they kind of do. People still want that Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, I really need that Red Dead sequel.
No, people still want Red Dead Redemption on PC.
Oh, on PC. Oh,
yeah.
I'm still waiting for that sequel, but yeah.
Oh, they'll announce. I bet you they'll have something to say about that next year.
Probably. PC will get the first game, and you guys will get the second one.
Yeah. What were we talking about? Oh, GTA 5. I'm really excited for GTA 5. I recently loaded it up again just to mess around in the world, and I still have a ton of fun with that game. It's a lot of fun. It was my unofficial game of the year last year. So yeah, I'm excited. If it's 1080 60, I think that'll be pretty cool.
I mean, worst case in the graphics, let's say they aren't the best on PC, someone's gonna do a huge graphics overhaul mod. Look at Skyrim,
They've already done major overhauls for the graphics for next gen, current gen, for PS4 and Xbox. They did comparison shots, and it's already leaps and bounds above last gen stuff. So I'm sure the PC version will definitely hold up pretty well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, look at what happened with Watch Dogs.
I mean, just how much will it? My thing is, how much will it actually sell? How much would the current the PS4 and Xbox One version sell? Because collectively, I believe the PS4 version, PS3 version, according to VG charts, has sold around 13 million copies alone, and the Xbox 360 one is around at least 10 million, right? So they've sold close to over 20 million, well over 20 million copies of just GTA.
So you think people aren't going to be looking to double dip? Is that what you're saying?
No. They'll definitely do, but I don't know just how much of a, how big of an impact it will have. Yeah. So VG Charts has it as 13.9 million, let's say 14 million for Xbox, and then 17.5 for PS3. Do the maths, that's 30 million. That's a lot of copies sold.
They won't match that for sure, but you throw a few extra missions, a little bit free DLC, and they'll have some sales.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I will double dip. I am telling you right now, I will double dip on this game. At release day, I will buy another copy of GTA 5. I don't mind that at all. I'm at peace with that.
Yeah. Also, do you have the PC sales? That's gonna help too.
Yeah, sure.
Because they had nothing the first time around, so for them it's a first time dip.
Can you imagine the Steam sale next summer? That's gonna be. Ooh. They're going to sell so many copies of GTA 5.
As if not many people have played it already. So many people have played it, but it'll have good sales. Just obviously won't match last gen. Talking of remasters, what else was there? Last of Us remaster.
Yeah.
That's
due out what, in a week? 2 weeks?
Yeah, it comes out in 2 weeks. Next week, isn't it?
Is it 25th, 27th, something like that?
Okay, that's 2 weeks away. Yeah. There's that. That also once again got a good graphics overhaul, 1080p, 60 frames.
That's what they're saying.
Great.
I will be able to tell you.
Yep. There's that. What else is there? Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain.
I was disappointed with Konami showing at this year's E3.
I mean,
It was an alright trailer. We knew the game was coming out.
it was a very good trailer. First off, it was a very good trailer, and it's cryptic message of like when the game's actually coming out. I reckon it comes out next year, but knowing Kojima, he likes to troll.
They have a date already.
Do they?
No,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. It's in
no,
March.
March?
Yeah.
No, it can't be that. Can't be.
Let's see.
I could have sworn I saw something about that.
And it's a bit too early, I reckon.
I don't think they have a date set.
No, still. I reckon it's next year. Just don't know when next year. Probably like in the fall or something, or spring, whatever. Spring will be March. No. It'll be. I reckon it'll be next year. Comes out. That was great. What else? What else was there? There was also. There was one publisher that was like missing big time.
Oh.
That was Bethesda.
What they had time for. People thought they were going to announce a new Fallout and they didn't. And like what? What else could they possibly be up to? It's too early for a new Elder Scrolls.
You can tell the online they're working with, so.
And people did not like Elder Scrolls Online.
They should have Dishonored 2 in the works.
Really?
It was actually rumored to be announced, but
I haven't heard anything about that.
Then again,
no.
like I believe Peter Hines from Bethesda did say that they won't show up at E3, and people say, that's what they all say, and then just don't show up.
Right.
And then they show up, but like they actually didn't show up. So, I mean, I guess it's understandable that that they didn't show up because they actually said they wouldn't.
Right.
So from fans' perspective, you shouldn't be too upset considering they did say they're not going to show up.
Did either of you get into Dishonored at all?
No.
It was a good game. I enjoyed it.
I mean, it looked very interesting.
It was a different way to do stealth-focused gameplay, even though it forced... You had a choice between lethal and non-lethal takedowns, and it was always so much more easy to go lethal, as it usually is. But I think they did the main character, whose name I can't even remember anymore.
Doesn't it start with C? Like
yeah,
Corvo?
it does. Corvo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He has this blink ability that lets him teleport short distances, and it's you can teleport up the side of buildings and onto roofs and stuff like that. It's worth checking out if you can get it. You can probably get it pretty cheap now. Yeah, a lot of people slept on that. It was good.
Yeah. So yeah, Bethesda was missing from that, and although Square Enix was there, I think they were hugely lacking. Mainly because the games that people actually do care about from Square Enix, Final Fantasy 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3, were no shows. Although, like once again,
What
they
was
did
that
say they
about?
won't show it. At this rate, we all know Square Enix's usual response. Oh, please be patient. We'll show it when it's ready. Just be a bit more patient, and we'll show it. We're planning when to show it next. All that blah blah blah.
We heard that 5 years ago.
Yeah, literally.
Are they still? Is Fabula Nova Crystallis still a thing? Are they still
I
pushing
don't
it?
think so. I don't think so. Maybe if they still want to keep it alive, because considering they did at least announce Final Fantasy Type 0 HD, which I'm looking forward to because I've been
What?
waiting for them.
What is that?
You don't know the PSP game?
Final Fantasy Type 0 HD? Is that what you said? Those
Yes.
are the words that came out of your mouth?
Yes.
What is that?
You don't know the PSP game Type Zero?
No.
Oh well, that was a popular Japanese PSP Final Fantasy game, and ever since it came out like 2009, like just before the Vita came out, or like 2010, one of them, and people are like, okay, bring this to Vita then, and they haven't still, and it was a surprise to anyone really that the fact that A is actually coming to the West. Well, not finally that it's coming to the West, but as an HD remaster for PS4, Xbox, and Vita on it. But apparently,
Final Fantasy game?
Yeah.
Why did I not know about this?
I'm surprised you don't.
I've never seen it before.
Look it up.
I'm looking at it right now. It just
yeah,
it's actually kind of neat. Like I'm a fan
pissed.
of Final Fantasy.
Yeah, people are kind of pissed that it's not coming to the Vita for some reason, but whatever. I'm just happy it's releasing some way, one way or another. And
Yeah, I'd play this.
yeah, and I just hope that next year, like I said, they will actually bring out those games. At least Final Fantasy 15, because I reckon, according to them, Final Fantasy 15 will definitely release before Kingdom Hearts 3. Kingdom Hearts 3 is years off.
I think FF 15 is going to be at TGS.
Yeah, I reckon.
And it's going to be 2016.
Yeah, I think it's going to definitely. I was about to say I think it's going to be a 2016 release. That's something I think they're going to aim for, and Kingdom Hearts a year later or something. So this Square Enix, although they at least announced the sequel to Tomb Raider, which
Yeah, that was I like that. Tomb Raider's a good game.
Yeah, so that's something. That's something. But yeah, I think that was all pretty cool. Any other third parties that we need to discuss?
Let's see.
I have one game that was shown during the Microsoft press conference. It's an exclusive to Xbox One, which I'm kind of pissed about. But Ori, I think Ori and I'll get the subtitle in a second. And the Blind Forest. I was really impressed by that trailer. Like I watched it a bunch of times after E3 had ended, and yeah, it looks like Dust, an Elysian Tale, kind of, which I also enjoyed, despite the fact that the art style was kind of different than what I was used to, let's say. But yeah, no, I really like the way that Ori looked. I will probably grab an Xbox One at some point, and I hope I remember to buy that game because it looks awesome.
We'll speak of Microsoft then. What was it? I liked that game. What's it called?
Halo.
No, not the Master Chief Collection.
Halo 5 then.
I mean, that wasn't even hardly showing. Halo 5 Guardians. Oh gosh, why am I forgetting? Oh, like what is it? Phantom Dust. Something
Really,
like
Phantom Dust? That's what you were focusing on?
Oh no! The trailer looked cool.
Did you play the original?
No, I never even knew that was like some reboot or something.
Oh,
yeah, never knew, but like the trailer looked cool. Scalebound looks pretty cool. The one from Platinum Games, that's an Xbox One exclusive.
It was just like a CG trailer, so I wasn't paying too much attention.
Like I said, I like that kind of stuff. So I think that's pretty cool. Dragon riding and all that. What does the Microsoft have? They did have
Ori and the Blind Forest.
Sunset Overdrive. I've always been a huge fan of Insomniac. I most definitely won't be able to play Sunset Overdrive because it's an Xbox One exclusive, but
right.
I always support Insomniac. I've been a fan of them since PS1. Spyro and Ratchet and Clank. Love that. And
I think Sunset Overdrive looks great.
Yeah, Sunset. It looks fun. I like it. And then it's cool that they're getting a Master Chief Collection, Halos 1 to 4. That's great.
I'll
I
buy
reckon.
Yeah, I play it.
Yeah, that's definitely something pretty cool. I reckon. Um, what is the? I think overall Microsoft had a pretty good showing. With like third party stuff usually with Tomb Raider announcement, Evolve exclusive beta, and Assassin's Creed. It's funny how though like it's actually I think it's been like the first time or like the second time at least that an Assassin's Creed game has appeared at a Microsoft conference because all these years Ubisoft and Sony had a partnership with Assassin's Creed. You're getting all that exclusive PlayStation content and all that.
Right.
So it was kind of at first it was kind of surprising to see like, oh wow, Assassin's Creed going to be shown at Microsoft, instead of Sony. But I mean, they always have these different partnership things, they always do. And Dragon Age, they showed off Dragon Age there and Call of Duty, usual Call of Duty on the Microsoft conference, and yeah, I think it was a pretty good solid showing, Anything else from Microsoft?
I think we
No,
covered
I
all the
mean,
big ones.
Yeah, like Halo, I'll get that at some point. I might even buy an Xbox One with Sunset Overdrive just because I'm into open world games. I think that when the weapons look neat, I like the aesthetic to it. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for Microsoft. Ori and the Blind Forest again.
Ori and the Blind Forest. And okay, then let's get to our last group, I guess. Our last company, Sony Computer Entertainment.
Oh God.
PlayStation.
Here's where you bathe in the glow of SCA.
Yeah, let's talk about it. I love Drive Club. I want that game.
No.
I'm a driver kind of game, so I'm driver kind of gamer, so I like that. I
I'll take a nap
love
real quick.
the details on Drive Club. It looks really really great. I love it. And The Order 1886. Oh gosh, my kind of game. I like the take a filmic kind of gaming. Really great.
That one, some people are saying like if you can make a game run 60, but you're intentionally like locking down 30, then some people have a problem with that.
I mean, I understand.
In this day and age, like 60 should be kind of the standard.
Yeah, people are definitely expecting, it's new gen consoles. You should definitely do 1080p, 60 frame. I guess though, Chris, like considering it's like early in the generation, maybe they weren't able to achieve it right now, but
from what I heard, I think they were able to get 60, but they intentionally wanted that, quote, cinematic appearance.
Oh, I see. Then I don't know. I guess that if that's what they seem is best performance, I guess it might be better for the better result because I believe some games have like the unlocked frame rate, where I believe for Tomb Raider, the Game of the Year edition for like the PS4, Xbox, they have like the unlocked frame rates where it like varies between 60 and 30.
It runs at 60 most of the time.
On PS4 it does.
Yes.
But Xbox One it doesn't, they say. Based on
really?
performance reviews. Yeah, based on performance reviews, they said Xbox One is flunky, so people now then sort of, they realize that, okay, you should either just stick to 60 frames, achieve it, or just do 30. And I believe in Drive Club, the developers, they also said, most racing games are like 60 frame, but like they said, they'll just lock it at 30 and then go for the real extra attention to detail, which like most people haven't complained about for Drive Club. When they actually play it, they're like, it feels great details and everything. So, if that's what the developers want, then I guess that's what they go for. I think in the end, most people want a stable performance at least. So even if it's not 60 frames, if it can do like solid 30 without hiccups, I think that's at least a good selling point.
See, here's the thing. People who are console gamers, are used to looking at 30 frames a second because most console games run at 30 frames a second. So it's never really been, if you grew up console gaming, it's never been that big of an issue. It's when you start getting into, buying higher end machines, building your own PC, that you get used to the whole 60 frames look.
Yeah.
And it does look nice. I mean, I remember I remember running Mass Effect, the first Mass Effect in 60 frames on my computer, and I was like, oh, this looks incredible. And, like, it's nice having 60 frames. Like, it's nice when the new Infamous achieves 60 frames, because it does. Not everywhere, but it looks nice. And Tomb Raider 2 also looks nice. But, I don't know. I don't really... Frame rate is not... If it stays 30 and above, I'm usually happy.
Yeah. What else from Sony? They did that, existing ones, and then they once again had a big presence for Destiny.
Oh man,
that was great to see. And then they showed off
Destiny for another half an hour.
No, and then
stay tuned. Episode 3, Destiny.
And they showed great gameplay footage for Arkham Knight and the trailer for Metal Gear Solid 5, as well as and then that's where they announced things like Dead Island 2. Not my kind of game, but people.
Did you play Dead Island?
No.
I haven't either.
You haven't?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, you guys, okay. Come join me in the sun. I enjoy Dead Island's an interesting game. I like the crafting system in it. But yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah.
But there was something about the melee combat in it that was very visceral, and you could switch to this different system where you use the sticks to control the way you swing your arms. And I thought that was really interesting. It was something I hadn't really played before, so I like it for that. I spent about like $5 on it on a Steam sale during a Steam sale.
Sales.
But it's an interesting little game. I'm not really interested in a new one. I'm kind of over zombies a little bit. So I don't know. But Sony did have No Man's Sky. And
why don't you enlighten us on why it's hype worthy? Why
No Man's Sky is the video game that I have always wanted. Just I love space opera stories and starships and all that. And just seeing, if they can pull that off, which GameSpot has a 4-part piece that they did this week called The Next Big Thing, Next Big Game. I don't remember. But it's a really, really great piece highlighting why No Man's Sky is such a big deal, and that game just looks incredible to go from one planet to the other, and like you could see a mountain on a planet in the distance and actually go into your ship into space and land on that planet and see that mountain up close. That's exactly what I want from a game. And Sean Murray, who's the lead developer on it, is just he's such an endearing guy, and he's very enthusiastic about game development. He's very passionate, and I think he's the kind of developer that I want to see doing these kinds of things. He seems like he's basically just a grown-up kid. Well, we're all grown-up kids, but he's, I don't know. This is the kind of game that I want.
I see. I mean, I think it was one of the games that got probably one of the biggest praises from entire E3 actually.
Yeah.
After the developers Hello Games, they got hit with a flood, I believe, like last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was last year.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
And then to see them come back as and to put it out on PS4, and that's made a lot of gamers happy. yeah, there was No Man's Sky. Then they showed off another new IP.
No Man's Sky.
Bloodborne. That's
Oh.
made by the same guys who made the Souls series. Dark Souls, Demon Souls. Coming from a guy who hasn't even played the Souls games, like that looked very interesting, despite being similar. They say it's very. I don't know. I like the feel and the mood that he set for the game. That dark Victorian era kind of thing. So similar to the Order. They have that dark Victorian alternate history kind of era, and I like that kind of stuff. So that was great to see.
I think Bloodborne. I am so excited for Bloodborne. I am a huge fan of the Souls series, and what's more important is that this is the team behind Dark Souls 1. I was iffy on Dark Souls 2. I played it through, but Dark Souls 1 was really where I became addicted to the Souls series, and seeing that team come back for Bloodborne, I am ready. It's gonna be incredible.
No
Man's Sky.
Okay. What the Far Cry thing? They showed once again.
Yeah, we talked about
that. Little Big Planet 3, which was a great
surprise. Take
surprise.
another nap.
Little Big Planet 3 was great. I thought Media Molecule was lying because they explicitly said we're not going to come at E3. But then seeing Little Big Planet 3, I'm like, oh, you liars. But then I realized it's made by a different Sony dev. So I'm like, oh, okay, fine.
Wait,
Media Molecule's working on different IP. Meanwhile,
that's not Media
Sony
Molecule who's doing Little Big Planet 3?
No, they're not.
Oh.
Yeah. Different developers doing it.
Yeah, the developer looks like it's Sumo Digital.
No, is it them?
I think so.
They listed the PSP one, I think, Sumo Digital. But I think Sony XDev or something and Sumo Digital or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So Little Big Planet 3 was great to see, and of course the highlight to me was that Uncharted 4 teaser trailer.
Yeah, and supposedly that was all in game. Yeah.
In game, and they're actually trying to go for 1080p 60 frames. They at least have 1080p, I believe. Just need to get that 60 frames. And my God, that detail. Naughty Dog is truly
what assholes they are. But like teasing this new Uncharted game. What was it, last year?
Yeah.
It was like, oh, yep, that's it. No more Drake. Drake's gone. And then no.
Oh. Got me so excited for that Uncharted. I love Uncharted games.
Yeah, Uncharted's great. Uncharted's
serious.
Love Naughty Dog, all that. So that was great to see. It was a great way to end the conference. Although one bit, few bits actually, like the new CEO of Sony Computer Entertainment America, Sean Layden, right? Sean Layden. I like I like to call him like the Obama of like.
Oh my God.
PlayStation, because that
guy has
PlayStation Obama.
Chris, when you watch this conference, this guy has such a politician-like stature. He does a lot of politician-like promises, politician-like hand gestures. I was like, this guy. I like this guy. He has used to go to be like Jack Tretton level of loving, but this guy's a good guy, I reckon. He just did a lot of things, he said a lot of things, and then the whole...
He did a lot of things, and he said a lot of things.
Yeah, not related to really games that we really cared about. And then they did the TV original series for PlayStation Network. I personally think that needs to be in E3s. That can be announced separately. Hey, we're doing TV show Powers.
That's when I got up and got dinner, I think, during that section of it.
Yeah. I mean, definitely most people pretty much say that was the low light of the conference. Really didn't need that. But other than that, I think Sony had once again a good conference. Nothing like last year. Last year they had a very, very, very solid showing.
Well, yeah, because last year was like, look how many ways we can stick it to Microsoft.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it was fueled by.
So yeah, yeah, I think that's overall. Oh, and the Grim Fandango remake.
Are either of you guys excited about that? Because I'm very excited.
I mean, I looked it up afterwards. I'm like, what the hell is this game? I've never played it because it was PC, I guess.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a very critically acclaimed title, so I might look into it. I might look into it.
I never got the chance to play it, but I'm a very big fan of Tim Schafer. So I've always heard about this game. I remember seeing advertisements for it in magazines, and I just never picked it up for whatever reason. And now I'm so excited that I'll be able to play it again.
Yeah. So yeah, Sony had a good mixture of things. It had a good showing of everything. I reckon.
Your
it was
paycheck's in the mail. Don't worry.
Oh boy, I support PlayStation. I do. I do.
You couldn't tell.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I think overall this year was just a good E3. Just a quiet, nothing impactful. I think the real big guns will come out next year. Next year's E3 when like a whole bunch of new IPs are announced, all that. So I look forward to next year's E3. This year was good.
This year was
lacking.
No. You know what? This year wasn't good because this year was E3 2015 Part 1, and I didn't like that. There was too many properties that were being pushed back and delayed, and nothing's coming out this year. I mean, we have two HD remasters on PlayStation alone. This is a brand new console, and already, I don't know, it's too much.
And we're getting Destiny.
Oh, man, can't get away from that game.
Yes. Yeah.
I hope that game's good. Don't get me wrong. I really do. I'm gonna buy it, but I don't know.
It will be good. Believe. What did I tell you? Believe.
You said No Man's Sky a whole bunch of times. That's what I heard.
Yeah, no, that's what you said. Yeah. So that's my overall impressions on E3.
Yeah.
This year. Yeah. Anything else we want to add onto it?
I don't think we left anything major out. Mario Maker. That looks like a neat idea.
Or anything big things that you wish you had seen announced, or?
Yeah, new Mass Effect. Where was that?
New Mass Effect. New Mass Effect for sure.
I would have liked a Mass Effect trilogy HD. Yeah, I know. I'm
really.
I'm such a hypocrite.
Really, you just talked about.
I know.
Oh my
I'm
God.
such a hypocrite about HD remasters, but I buy them, and I'm just saying that I think that it's fine that we have them, but I think there should be also more content coming out this year for a new console.
Yeah.
AKA Destiny will have you.
All right. Okay, Destiny. Yes, Destiny's coming out in September. Pre-order now, everybody.
And while you're at No Man's Sky, also might as well pre-order that one.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think Sean Murray said he was interested in doing that sort of thing. He's not interested in selling out like that,
Yeah, give it time.
These are the Joe Danger guys.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that's it for our impressions, right?
Yeah,
for E3.
That's gonna do it. Unless does anybody have anything to add?
Nah.
No.
I've said my opinion. We can always develop these into other topics in future podcasts.
Yeah, I think as they announce new things, we'll cover it also.
Yeah. So we'll go more in depth, but I think this was a good coverage. Good first podcast, I'd say.
Yeah, it was. I feel good about it.
I think we were a month late, but what are you gonna do?
Well, no, you know what? We have the benefit of perspective. There's no, we're Monday morning quarterbacks here, like really far down the line Monday, but we got there.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to do it for the first episode of Idle Animation. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Thank you, guys.
I want to thank Tyhoon and Nardi, Chris Nardi, for joining me today and talking about all these lovely games. If you guys want, you can email us at idleanimationpodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at, I think I set up the Twitter.
Idle Animation.
Episode 1 is still right at the king, so, you know.
There'll still be kinks at episode 50 if we make it there. I don't care. You think I care? I don't care. At Idle Animation on Twitter. So, yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah.